Hi, this video aims to explain how a beginner can lose weight and gain muscle so you can start your fitness journey. Specifically, given how much fitness advice is out there, I'll help you understand which ones to focus on. After watching this video, you will understand the basics of fitness, which should get you started. I'm Shinji Hoshino. If interests you, please keep watching and enjoy. This presentation will be in three parts. First, I'll introduce the concept of tiers, a framework that helps you focus on what matters in losing weight and gaining muscle without the abundance of information overwhelming you. Second, I'll explain what matters most for losing weight and gaining muscle, respectively. Third, I'll explain practical steps to get started. This is how I looked in early 2023, weighing 78 kilos. I lost about 20 kilos, that is around 44 pounds in a year, ending up at 60 kilos. Then I trained hard and went from barely squatting 60 kilos, that's 2 plates, to squatting 140 kilos, 3 plates. I went from looking like this to how I look now in 2 years. Many of you at church kept asking me, Shinji, how did you manage this? I promise you that with the right steps, you too can achieve such results. It's not that complicated if you know what to focus on, so let me help you get started. I want to introduce you to the idea of tiers. Tiers are a way to help us focus on what's important when there's too much information. How do we process information when there's too much out there? The answer is to know which one is most important. We can illustrate tiers as a pyramid. The information at the top is the most important. Notice that the top of the pyramid is narrow. The important information at the top consists of only few items. All other information at the bottom is not only less important, but it also depends on the items at the top. This helps you process information by starting with the most critical points and later understanding the rest in that context. Let me show you an example of tiers in Christianity. If you're not a Christian, don't worry, the concept should still be familiar to you. In Christianity, there are many beliefs, such as let me show you an example of tiers in Christianity. If you're not a Christian, don't worry, the concept should still be familiar to you. In Christianity, there are many beliefs, such as there is only one God, or Jesus Christ died for our sins and rose from the dead. But not all beliefs have the same impact. For example, the Bible is God's revelation of Himself to man and is totally true. That would go into the first tier at the top. Meanwhile, what specific songs should Christians listen to might be at the bottom. So Christians believe that believing in Christ is the only way to salvation. But how do we know that? It's because the Bible, which is the Word of God Himself, says so. You can see how the concept of tiers work here, because understanding that the Bible is God's revelation to Himself, of Himself to man, and is totally true, helps us understand the rest of Christianity. Thus, it is important for Christians to understand what's the top first before they can fully understand the rest. This process applies not only to Christianity, but to any topic with significant complexity, such as weight loss and muscle gain. So, what are the most important things to understand about weight loss and muscle gain? Let me explain. For losing weight, it is calorie deficit. That means you eat less than your body uses. That's it. Literally, everything else about losing weight depends on creating a calorie deficit. Drill that into your mind because there are a lot of myths out there about weight loss. Meal timing, frequency, or even cutting out carbs. They do not, and I repeat, do not matter if you're not in a calorie deficit. You must eat fewer calories than you use. That is the only way to lose weight. Now, I want to address one thing right off the bat. But Shinji, what about exercise? Good question. Eating less matters much more than exercise. Let me explain why. How many calories are there in one big bag of potato chips? About 1,000 kilocalories. Now, guess how much you burn by walking for 30 minutes? It's generally around 100 to 200 kilocalories. You would have to walk 2.5 hours to burn the calories from a single bag of potato chips, in the best case scenario. I hope that shows you why watching your diet matters far more than exercise. Here's a bonus. How many calories are there in a single boiled egg? It's 100 calories. Kilocalories. Notice how much lower the calorie count is compared to potato chips. Even though it fills your stomach much faster. This is why people usually lose weight when they eat healthy foods. Moving on. For gaining muscles, you need two things: growth stimulus and conditioning. First, you need a growth stimulus to gain muscle. In other words, your body needs a reason to adapt and grow larger to build muscle. Thus, you need to train hard to gain muscle. Training hard means pushing yourself to the limit and getting stronger over time. We call the process of getting stronger over time progressive overload. Progressive overload is crucial because we don't go to the gym to lift the same weight, the same way, the same number of times over and over again. We're always trying to get to be stronger than the last time we were in the gym. Second, you need conditioning to build muscle. It might be a surprise to many, but you don't build muscle at the gym. As I explained earlier, you go to the gym to stimulate your muscles to grow. However, that won't matter if your body doesn't have the right conditions to build muscle. The conditions for building muscle are having enough of these three. Number 1, calorie surplus. 2, protein. And finally, sleep. Calories and protein are needed because muscle are built from them. Sleep is the time your body uses to build muscle. Did you notice that? The most important requirements for losing weight and gaining muscle are contradictory. You must be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, but gaining muscle requires a calorie surplus. Generally speaking, you cannot lose weight and gain muscle at the same time. Beginners are an exception. You may find it possible to lose weight and gain muscle simultaneously, but that's the exception, not the rule. Thus, when you start to train, expect that you will have to switch between phases of losing weight and gaining muscle in order to maintain a healthy amount of body fat, since you cannot do both at once. So in summary, anything regarding weight loss and muscle gain, other than what I explained earlier, is either a specific technique to achieve those goals or an outright myth. Specifics such as what food you eat, when you eat, training splits, which exercise you choose, and how many times you go to the gym must all be aligned with these goals. Otherwise, they don't really matter. Hopefully, knowing what matters most helps you start to accumulate the right knowledge needed to adjust your program to your specific needs. With the most important concepts out of the way, now it's time to get started. Let me help you with some practical steps. First, you want to track your progress. You can use the tools I use or anything similar, even physical notebooks. For losing weight, you want to track two things: weight and calorie intake. Start by weighing yourself once a day and writing the number down. Then start recording the calories of what you eat. You can look at the back of the food packaging or weigh the food and Google the calories for unlabeled foods like fruits. Observe how your weight changes based on the total calories you eat per day. If you're gaining weight, you're in a calorie surplus. If you're losing weight, you are in a calorie deficit. Now, all you have to do is eat more or less depending on your goal. If you're trying to lose weight, you should consume calories that cause you to lose weight. Start by consuming 300 calories below maintenance, which should lead to losing slightly less than 0.5 kilogram a week. One thing I want you to accept that is that if you're one thing that I want you to accept is that you're going to be hungry. There are ways to make the hunger more bearable, but the hunger itself is unavoidable. You must get used to it. To gain muscle, let's start by making a plan to go to the gym. So step 1, find your nearest gym and plan to become a member. Once you've found the gym, let's set up a routine. I personally go to the gym 4 times a week, but you can start by training your whole body once or twice a week. Just make a plan and stick with it. Step 3. Once you're in the gym, you can start with simple exercises. You can start with anything, but if you're going alone, machines might be easier for beginners. You might want a trainer or someone who can teach you the technique for more complex free weight exercises. I recommend starting with the exercises for your chest, back, quads, and hamstrings, since they are the largest muscle in your body. Perhaps a chest press machine, lat pull down machine, squat machine, and leg curl machine would be a good start. Start with a weight you can lift at least 10 times with consistent technique. Technique refers to how you lift the weight and the range of motion. To accurately track strength gains, we want your technique to remain consistent. So remember the positions of your machines and how far you lift them. Then we also want to track the weight and reps. Reps, also known as repetitions, are how many times you lift a weight before resting. Perform reps until you can no longer lift the weight with proper technique. Then do at least 2 sets, meaning you lift to failure twice with rest in between. Finally, as you return to the gym, try to beat your previous entries in the logbook, aiming to become stronger over time. Just as you track your weight and food for weight loss, you must ensure you are losing weight and trying to gain muscle. Generally, you want a sufficient surplus to gain around a kilo of weight per month. As for protein, a general rule would be to eat 1.7 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. You might need to eat protein-rich food such as chicken breast or protein shakes to achieve enough protein intake. Finally, you want to get enough sleep so that you don't get tired during the day. For most people, this is between 7 to 9 hours. So that's it. Let me recap what we learned today. To lose weight, you must be in a calorie deficit. And we figure out if we're in a calorie deficit by tracking food and weight. To gain muscle, you must have growth stimulus and conditioning. For growth stimulus, you want to train hard with progressive overload, tracking your lifts and trying to get stronger over time. For conditioning, you want a calorie surplus, enough protein, and sleep. Fitness is really that simple, much simpler than social media makes it seem. Everything else consists of specifics that depend on what's important, which we went through today. Hopefully, fitness now makes more sense to you. Have any questions? Leave them in the comment section or reach out to me personally at funnypigrun@gmail.com. Hopefully, this has been helpful to you, and I'll see you guys another time. Bye.